Hey lovies, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Aries Only, where I channel messages for Aries only. Today we're doing a full moon reading. We're looking into this Aries full moon. So let's just grab a card to get started. What is Aries' current energy? It's 3, I just want one. Oh, that fell on the floor. It's 2, okay, no. What is the energy Aries is going to be in during this full moon? Okay. The sustainer. Interesting. Okay. With the animal. So, very interesting. So, I feel like with the sustainer is a very, it's like a fixed energy, like a Taurus energy or something like that. Something that is able to sustain relationships and dynamics between people. And the reason I'm saying it like that is because that's what this full moon is obviously all about. So I feel like that's usually your role. You could be the peacemaker and things like that. But I was reading something about this. Oh yeah, look, the warrior. I just cut to that. Wow. So I feel like, and the animal, I just want to make sure I was clarifying this energy correctly, or, reading this energy correctly. But it's almost like, what did I read about this moon? That the time people pleasing comes to a grinding halt with this Aries, like, full super moon. It's almost like, say you have a coworker that's like passive aggressive. It's like you're always like, oh, I don't want to lower myself to engage with this person. Like, they can't even like say what they have to say, like, to my face. Like, they just say it in like a passive way, like, like a subtle way, so like you can't really get mad, blah blah blah. It's like you always like try to let it go, but it's like passion's gonna be running high, like tempers are gonna be running high. So it might be that time that you're like, you drop like your control, like you lose control for a second and just sort of maybe come at this person. I also was reading, I think it was the same article where they're like the fuck around and find out moon of 2023 or something like that. So, and we have to understand too now, like in July, the North Node moved from Taurus to Aries, and the South Node moved from Scorpio to Libra. So that's what I feel. That's what a lot of these moons will be about. It'll be highlighting our relationship with ourselves versus our relationship with other people. And we have to look at Aries energy versus Libra energy. Aries is the energy of the self. Libra is the energy of other people. And that's where these like dynamics come into play. Aries is a very bold, brash, like act first, ask questions later energy. Like Libra is a very like, indecisive, like, let's think about this, like, blah, blah, blah kind of an energy. Like, it's not very, like, fast moving. It's kind of like, let's balance this out before we make a decision. Aries is charging forward impulsively, making instant decisions and not even really thinking about it. Like, Libra's thinking way too much, for example. Aries is action. Libra is, like, the thought process. Aries is direct. Libra, again, is trying to see both sides of an argument. So it's like these sorts of dynamics are coming into play in this full moon here. Where, again, it's like the fuck around and find out. Like, where it's like people might just make a little stray comment, and it's just going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. This animal side of the nature, like, might come out. Like, and people will find out. Like, I don't know. All right, so let's see what, oh my God, I closed my notebook to the reading that I like wrote out. Hold on, let me find it quick. Did I write it in here? I think I did. I'm so sorry, guys. Please give me a second. I don't even remember where I wrote it. Oh, I cannot believe I did that. All right, well, maybe I wasn't meant to use that reading or something. I don't know. I feel like, oh, okay, no, never mind. I take that back. It's right here. So, okay, where you're at, we kind of got a sense of that, but let's get 2 tarot cards as well. So where are my Aries at? During this full moon, the 6 of Wands. It's like, yeah, I see how like we have this 9 of Swords energy. It's almost like maybe that was you in the past. Like, we wouldn't want to upset anybody, walking on eggshells. It's like you're just gonna like spring up into action and you're not going to care what the people around you think. It's like you're just going to care about almost maybe like your pride here is what I'm getting. The Three of Pentacles, maybe in the workplace is what I'm getting. It's almost like the Sustainer and the Three of Pentacles is a similar energy. So I'm almost getting a sense here with the Sustainer, like that there is going to be a more earthly influence on this energy, that you're not going to just be necessarily lashing out at people in a way that is necessarily destructive. I'm getting a sense that it might be necessary in order to like break down your relationships and build them up in a way that is acceptable to both you and them. And they may not like it, but it's like you're going to teach people how to treat you. Like this is like the Master card. And this is a card of success as well. Like this is a card of personal success. I feel like that's the energy that you're going to be in. You're going to show people with the Pentacles. It's like, and the Wands card, that's like cards of action. And this isn't just going to be you being like, oh, you need to treat me better. Like this is unacceptable. This is like you having somebody do something to you for like the 10th time and just cutting them off without an explanation, going cold on them, and they're left to question like, why is this person not talking to me? And then they're forced to like look in the mirror and question their own behavior, kind of a thing. So that sounds good. I like that. What else can we get? Let me see. What else? What is the energy Aries is going to be in for the course of this moon? Oh, something is flipped, but I think it already was. It says think first before you judge. But let's see. What is the energy Aries is going to be in? We have Potion. Remember to practice self-love. But I think it is all about yourself here. Oh, that's two. Let's just get one. Nostalgia and Lighthouse. Okay. What energy is Aries going to be in? Universe. We're all just stardust. Okay. So, number 24 and number 31. I feel like even if you do lash out, there is going to be some sort of moment of reckoning where you might like feel bad for a minute, but ultimately you're going to come to the conclusion that we're all just doing our best. Sometimes like people need to be put in their place. Sometimes people need to like stand up for themselves, like, and that's okay. It doesn't only have to be about this, but I feel like it is something to do with your relationships with other people, because on both of these tarot cards, I see like other people, like groups of people being depicted, especially at the workplace. This could be like really coming through for you guys. So let's see. I'm going to use Moonology. What needs to be released here with this full moon? What needs to be released? What energy needs to be released for Aries watching with this full moon? We have a full moon in Capricorn. Okay. This is an energy that needs to be released. What needs to be seen right now by you guys? That's two. I just want one. What needs to be seen by Aries watching the full moon energy? Okay. And what is getting ready to emerge? Look at the bigger picture. Full moon in Sagittarius. So this is a time for healing, this says. We have 3 full moons on the board here. So again, that's like major intensity. A lot of stuff coming up to be released. I feel like even though we have like this card is representing what needs to be released, I feel like even in what needs to be seen, something needs to be seen that needs to be released. What's emerging, something that needs to be released almost, because it's all about a release here. We have a Capricorn and Sagittarius energy. That's like Jupiter and Saturn. One is a very expansive planet, and one is a very restricted planet. So what needs to be released here? Any restrictions that you put on yourself. In the context of this reading, I'd say any restrictions you put on yourself in regards to how you stick up for yourself, speak up for yourself, things like that. And what is waiting to emerge, a more expansive view of life in general. We have the universe here too. We're all just stardust. So I feel like almost standing up for yourself in this way maybe feeling restricted. So that's what I feel like is going to happen. Like, if there is a situation, especially at work, again, we have this Capricorn energy, even with your boss, it could be. If there is a situation at work with like a boss where the boss is like really not treating you with respect, really like stifling you somehow, like being very controlling, stifling you somehow, or even just a coworker, I guess. But with Capricorn energy, I do get boss energy or even father energy, something like that. It's like, I think you need to let go of seeking approval from this person is what I'm getting. It's almost like, yeah, with the Six of Wands, it's almost like you could have been caught up in a cycle with maybe a parent or some sort of authority figure here where you want to like have success in order for this person to like say like, hey, great job. But in actuality, no matter what you do, it may never be enough for this person. So it's important to have that sense of success within yourself, be able to sustain yourself. I feel like if we look at a lot of our conflicts with other people, I think that there's, you need to sit down and ask yourself, am I acting or am I reacting? Am I reacting to somebody else's energy because that gives them the power? Or am I acting out of my own like self-love and self-beliefs and like, you know, sustainability, like, if you will, like for my own self, like, you know what I mean? That's not right the way I just said that, but do you get what I'm saying? Like, is it coming from a place inside of me, or is it coming in a reaction to what someone else said about me, kind of a thing? So I think these are like important questions to sit with. I was reading something the other day that was like, am I the stew? Am I the chef or am I the stew? So like, are you the person making the stew, or are you the product of someone else's like opinions and words and things like that? Kind of a thing. And that doesn't mean that you can't stand up for yourself. But it means also like kind of check yourself if you're just trying to impress an authority figure with your accomplishments and then getting upset when they're not maybe giving you the praise that you want here and they're not acknowledging your successes, or even if this is a boss where you're trying really hard and they're just kind of like nothing's good enough for them. Sort of learn how to sustain yourself with your own feelings of integrity, for doing the job correctly, for your own work ethic and things like that. If it's a parent, sustain yourself, similar vibe, like with your own, you know, integrity, personal integrity. There might be some sort of discrepancies in your character where you're looking at your parent and wanting to impress them, but you're realizing like how different the two of you actually are. And, that you maybe have a different grading system for what makes somebody a successful person, and it might just not line up, just to kind of have a more neutral view of the situation so it's not as personal. Like, oh, like my mom just is always judging me because like she thinks that I like can't get my shit together, or like that I don't know what I'm doing with my life yet. Like I'm kind of like aimlessly like wandering, something like that. And it's like you just haven't figured it out yet, and maybe your life, you have more emotional issues to deal with, for example, or you know, you're on a more spiritual path, or whatever the case is. It's like something that this person couldn't maybe understand because they're not on a spiritual path, or they're not very emotional. They don't have these same intense emotions as you. They can't necessarily, like, you're not the same. Like there's a vast difference being highlighted. This says remember to practice self-love. So I think that's what needs to sustain you. And this is all about the self, this Aries moon. So even if this isn't like actual fighting and like verbal conflicts acting out, this could be sort of a conversation that you have with yourself if it doesn't get to that point. Although you're an Aries, so it might get to that point, it might get too ahead, especially with all these intense energies swirling around. We have a lot of intense energies coming through. So what needs to be seen with the full moon energy? What needs to be seen here? Like this is saying about surrender to the divine, like surrender basically to yourself. Like when I think about the divine and divine energy, like we all have a piece of that within ourselves, and some people are more in touch with it than other people. I think this is saying like surrender to the you that you really are. Again, this sort of an energy of self-love. A lot of times we get caught up in other people's opinions to the point that we're like conditioned to believe that like their opinion is fact, and it's almost like it blocks like the call of our own soul, or the voice of our own soul, if you will, which I feel like is the key here to like helping you move through this full moon as like painlessly as possible. Is just to like remember like who you are, kind of a thing. Like remember, and maybe you don't really know yet, maybe you're still on that journey trying to figure it out. I am getting some sort of conflict with authority here though, where maybe they don't like understand that, and it seems like a little bit like, okay. I like to use the example in Pulp Fiction, if you've seen that movie, where Jules has that experience where he gets shot at and none of the bullets hit him or whatever, you know, and then he decides that he's gonna basically go on like a spiritual quest, or he's like, I'm just gonna wander until God puts me where he wants to put me. And oh my God, why can't I remember his name? Victor, is that his name? John Travolta's character is like, okay, so like you're gonna be a bum. And he's like, I mean, if that's what you want to call, I don't remember exactly the whole conversation. Actually, I haven't seen that movie in like a year. I have to watch it again soon. But like, he's like, they're having this whole like conversation about it. And he's like, I'm just going to wander around till God puts me where he wants me to be. And he's like, so that means you're just going to be a bum. Like, you're just going to be like, you're going to be one of those people like begging for money on the street. And he's like, if that's what I have to do, that's what I have to do. Like, he has that conviction of like, I don't care what you're saying. Like, this is what I have. That's what's sustaining him. I mean, I don't know what ends up happening, if he does really go do that or not, but we never hear any different in the movie, so there's a good, you know, chance that he does. And it's like having that conviction, it's like having a more, it could be having to do with spirituality here, because we're going from like Capricorn, like I was saying, that restrictive energy, to like a more fiery, like spiritual energy here with Sagittarius. So it's a kind of wandering, exploratory energy where I need to like explore my soul. And there could be some authority figure coming and being like, okay, but like you're not being practical, but okay, but what are you going to do for money? What are you going to do for retirement? How is your life going to go? Like, you can't just like, you know, explore your spirituality. Like, you have bills to pay. Like, it could be like a fight like that, something like that, where people just like aren't understanding your motivations, or thinks that they're silly and aren't giving them any credence or anything like that. And you could be trying to like explain your spiritual perspective, is what I'm getting here. And it could just be like confusing people, or it could be causing a lot more conflicts between you and other people, because like they're just not getting it. And it's a very frustrating, I'm getting, could be a very frustrating experience here, trying to explain. Did you ever see, it's like that meme when it's like, when I'm trying to explain spirituality to like my family and friends, but it's like, you look like a mad scientist. Like, you look like a like actually crazy person, like on the chalkboard with like all these different formulas, like blah 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 blah. Like, it's just like, honestly, that's sometimes, if someone doesn't understand like the deeper side of life, sometimes that's what it could kind of seem like to them, which we have to understand where they're coming from too as well. Like, and maybe think back to a time when you weren't this involved in your spirituality, if that was ever the case, where if like somebody had said this to you, you might have been a little bit like, I don't know about that. That seems a little out there. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of try to understand where they're coming from. You could, like, less is more sometimes when it comes to trying to explain our life choices to family and friends, but at the same time, we're going through something super intense. We want them to understand, and we want them to agree with us, and it's like they don't. And it's like, that's what this is coming through as. Like, we need to learn how to sustain ourselves without their approval. I feel like this is a lot about other people's approval, and Spirit's like, this moon is really helping you hone in, like, this is what needs to be seen, that we have to just surrender to the fact that like not everyone's going to understand us, not everyone's going to agree with this with us, not everyone is going to approve of like what we're doing, and that's okay. If we're following our own like North Star here, we're all just stardust, we're following the call of like the universe, we're more in tune with something else here, that maybe these people have yet to discover. That's okay, you know what I mean? Like, they haven't seen it yet, but that's what needs to be seen, is that we're not meant to make them understand. And one day they might see the purpose. It might be in 3 years from now. Your quest will take you somewhere, you know, I'm sure down a lot of winding roads. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, they may or may not see the point of all this. They may or may not. And they don't have to. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like with self-love, remember to practice self-love with the potion card. I also feel like there could be some ritual work to be done here. Especially because a lot of times these opinions of other people can trigger feelings in us, like they're saying like, oh, like you need to like nail down your career, for example, if there is some sort of authority figure here. And you could be feeling like, oh, I don't even have a career, like I'm such a loser. Like, examine that self-talk that you have with yourself. So something that you could do, here, I'll use my notebook to do it. So let's say you're like, I'm a loser with no job. Like the meanest thing you could say. Like, sit around and really think thoughts about yourself, like what you say to yourself. So I'm a loser with no job. Exclamation point. Yay, I'm a loser with no job. Okay. So then for this full moon, what we could do is be like, do a little cross out. And I haven't figured it out yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the truth. Like, you just haven't figured it out. You're not a loser. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that. If it's something, if you're feeling bad about yourself, like, I'm fat and disgusting. This isn't me. Like, this is something like I hear my female relatives say a lot. For me, when I gain weight, I love it, but I'm fat and disgusting. So for me, I would cross this out and write, I'm extra juicy. It's like, I don't mind when I gain a little bit of weight. I feel more attractive, but I know like members of my family do not feel like that. So something neutral, like what could we say? I'm fat and disgusting. Let's see, what could we say? I have a few extra pounds on me. And what's a few extra pounds? You could go start working out tomorrow and lose it. Like, do you get what I'm saying? So go down the list, whatever bad thoughts you have about yourself here, and just try to, you know, make up like more neutral. If you can't like go like the complete opposite and be like saying something really good and positive and upbeat, you want it to be believable. You know what I mean? Something that can sustain you, something real that feels real to you. So it has to be true. But think of a nicer truth. Think about if your best friend was saying this to you. I'm a loser with no job. No, like, you're just figuring it out. Like, you know, what would you say to your best friend? What would you say to somebody that you love? You know what I mean? And say that to yourself. That's a good way to sort of practice this and get it going. But, and then we have here, oh, I turned the page again. What's getting ready to emerge, this full moon in Sagittarius. I think this more positive outlook, this ability for you, I feel like things are going to start happening that you're almost going to like look back on and see the purpose of what happened there. And it's going to give you more of a sense of like, oh, this is happening for a reason moving forward. Does that make sense? So it's almost like, even if you can't convince these other people, like, you're going to have enough signs, you're going to have enough like personal experiences. You're going to find the peace within yourself. It might not be super tangible, although it might be with the Three of Pentacles, you know? You might meet some like-minded people that, in like a more of a social setting or something like that, that do understand you. Or you might find some sort of sense of community with people. You might connect more with your spiritual guides here, and like they'll make you feel seen. Like they'll like reassure you or something like that. But what's getting ready to emerge with the full moon in Sagittarius, if I could find the book, I may read this. Just because I feel like, I don't think I've ever read this one, so I'm not sure. Full moon in Sagittarius. All right. Are you thinking too much about the details of your dilemma? Fretting over a minutia can be counterproductive, or perhaps you're being all talk and no action. This card is a reminder that while it's good to think things through, sometimes you need to step back and look at the bigger picture. What do you then see about your current situation? What's the most positive thought you can have about it? Now is the time to count your blessings, even if you don't yet have exactly what you want. This card is also a reminder that we often have to take a few risks and go with uncertainty on this journey called life. Try to keep an open mind about what's for the best. The universe could surprise you. Okay, additional meanings. The situation may have come around because you've been distracted. Be confident without being overconfident to win the day. Have you shown that you care? If not, now is the time. Find a balance between speaking your mind and saying too much. The full moon in Sagittarius is a time when we are reminded that life is an adventure and that there's a big wide world to see beyond our backyard. Right, and I feel like that's where these people could be coming from, like a sense of fear. Even if what they're saying is rude and judgmental and mean, I think it is most likely stemming from a place of like, that's my son, that's my daughter, that's my sibling, or whoever, my friend, whoever is like coming at you here. I just want to protect them. I don't want to see them fail. I want to see them succeed. Like, it's like that fear of like, when you see somebody making a mistake, I don't know, it depends if you're, I don't know where you're at in life, if you have like the next generation. I have a niece, I don't have any kids, but like during the course of her life, she's 19 now, but like whenever I had seen her try to like make a mistake that I've made, and you could see that they're doing it, and it's like you just want to be like, no, like that's not what you do, like I've been there, kid, like I know, like, and they get annoyed, like, you know what I mean? But it's like you can see it, and then it's like they go and do it, and it's almost like sometimes exactly what you thought would happen happens, but sometimes it doesn't, like, you know what I mean? So it's like people need that opportunity to grow, and so and as do you. But other, like, people can't see that sometimes. These people that are older, they feel like they've experienced more life, and sometimes they do have a point, but it's like, and I think that's what you're going to see here too. That's what's emerging, is that you're going to see that yes, maybe you have a spiritual journey to go on, or you have a lot of intense emotions that you have to deal with, or something like that. Like whatever the case is, that's like you feel maybe is holding you back right now in a way that some authority figure is thinking of here, or something like that. You feel like you have to defend yourself against something here, whatever that is. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so like you could be very defensive towards whoever this is because you're like, you just don't understand. And that could be true, everything that you're thinking here. But at the same time, there could also be some truth in what they're saying, that you're just not really, it's because it's almost like if you can agree with that, it's like you also have to agree with everything that they're saying. So it could feel like you just reject the whole thing, if that makes sense. So I feel like that's what this is about, like kind of trying to find that compromise between, like, because it's true, like if they're saying like bills need to be paid, like, you know, that's true. Like we live in a 3D world here. We live in a material world, but you're probably not a material girl. And that's like maybe the problem here. There's something about that. I feel like this is like money versus like spirituality, or like emotions versus money, where like there's something. Or maybe you're just like working at a dead-end job and your parents like, you should be doing more, you should be going to school, you should be doing this, and you're just like, I have no desire to do that, like I'm just trying to stay afloat right now, like, you know, or something like that. I'm getting a vibe like that. But there might be some truth into what they're saying. You don't have to admit that to them. I would just think about it later. Like you don't have to like concede in the moment, but there could be, your pride could be getting in the way, is something that I'm thinking of. Just because, you know, like you and them don't see eye to eye on everything doesn't mean that if they are older and wiser, they may have some valid points. They may have some wisdom that could help you sustain yourself, maybe financially. I don't feel like finances are really like, I don't know. I just feel like this is more emotional or spiritual, and it's like a conflict like that. I could be wrong though, but yeah. So what's emerging, basically an ability to look at the bigger picture. Were we done here? When we are reminded that life is an adventure and there's a big wide world to see beyond our backyard. It's about having fun and being prepared to sail into uncharted territory. It's about big ideas versus the details. No matter when you draw this card, it encourages you to look at the bigger picture. So you might have these big ideas, and there could be somebody coming in like, well, what about this? What about that? And that could be something valid, like, you know, worth listening to. So, okay, let's see what are going to be, like, what's something good that's going to come out of this, like the light side of this moon. Do we want to use this? We have Judgment. Okay. And what is like the dark side coming out of this moon here? The darker side. It's 2. Just one, please. What's the darker side of this full moon in Aries for the viewer? We have the Chariot. I almost felt like that was in reverse, but let's see. Whoa! Which way it wants to go. Okay, upright. All right, so we have, and then the 7 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So the light side of this moon is that I think that there's going to be some issues dredged up. Like, again, like there's that whole full moon aspect of like things being illuminated. Maybe some of your own fears, like maybe your own beliefs about yourself, like whatever this authority figure or something is saying. And even if there's not an actual fight, this could be, say you like live alone and you don't even see your family, this could just be like you having fears based on their opinions of you and stuff that you know that they would say, and almost like feeling defensive, you know, towards those types of opinions, and sort of like conformist thinking and things like that. So it's like this could be you almost going from maybe being too scared to speak up to like being like loud and proud, like really like blasting it loud from the rooftops. Like, what's that song, Impossible, that just like popped in my head, like shout it from the rooftops. Okay, all we had is gone now. I don't know why that song just popped in my head, but it's like maybe this is like triggered by a heartbreak and someone's telling you that like, you know, you're being too emotional about it or something like that. Could be the case. That just like popped in my head. But it's like, whereas you've maybe been too afraid to speak up, now it's like you are speaking up. Things are coming to light within you. Some like issues are coming up that have been buried within you. Again, I'm seeing like a family dynamic here. Maybe this is you sort of really speaking up to your family for the first time. This is Archangel Gabriel, which is an angel and an archangel, but I always associate with the throat chakra. So there's definitely a feeling of like the throat chakra like opening up here, and that's like a positive aspect to this moon. But then we also have the Chariot here as the darker side. And oh my god, I just went to clarify it and like pulled up, I went like this and it was the Chariot again. So what's the Chariot? The Chariot is a card of triumph. So I feel like a dark side of this could be feeling like you have to win at any cost. Again, this sort of a Six of Wands energy, like you're not seeing the bigger picture. That's what like I feel like is the whole point of this moon here, is for you to be able to see the bigger picture of this argumentative energy, and to see that it's not about you winning, it's about you not caring. Like it's about you surrendering and letting people think whatever they want and living your life anyway. But I feel like this could really like trigger some pride in you, where you feel like you need to win. You need to show them that you need to show them that your point is correct. And I feel like during the course of this moon and the aftermath of it, you may sort of settle into a feeling of like, it doesn't matter what they think, because in the bigger picture, in the grand scheme of things, like I'm following my own soul and that's all that matters, kind of a thing, basically. So let's also get some affirmations for you guys. But basically, yeah, it's like, it is good to speak your truth, but people don't have to like always honor and agree with what you say, and that's okay. Like you have to honor it within yourself. There's a vibe of that for sure. So what's affirmations? Sorry, I have to like turn these around. For the collective, for the Aries collective right now, that would most help them. What are the Aries? Woo! The affirmations that Aries most needs. I am allowed to say no. Yeah, it's like you can disagree with people, for sure. And then we have, I strengthen my inner world to meet my outer world with grace. Yes, that's exactly the vibe that I'm getting here. And that's what these two maybe sphinxes are representing, where it's like you are looking at the wrong sphinx, where you want other people to agree with you in order to feel better about yourself. And it's like it should be the opposite, where it's like you already feel better about yourself and you don't care what these other people think. And then it's almost like the respect will sort of, I think, come, is kind of a vibe that I'm getting. And then we have, I know my worth, I do not settle for less. And maybe conceding and taking this more traditional path, if that is a vibe that, you know, the situation that you're in could feel like settling for you, and you're not willing to do that. So let's grab some advice here. All right, this reading is going on way too long, as usual. Let's grab some advice here. What advice does Aries need right now? We have codes of the seeds. The blueprint is within you. take the next step. So this is like, maybe I think Spirit's way of confirming like you are following some sort of edict of your soul. You don't need other people to agree with you, but you need to be okay with that. The fertile void, inner winter, rest, patience, potency, and secret beginnings. It's like this work that you're doing, like there is a purpose for it, but maybe people just can't understand that. The rose thread, inner call, soul led, the mystic, living courageously. I think Spirit's just trying to confirm this for you. Like, you know what you're doing. But you're just like fighting the process because other people, like they can't feel what you're feeling. They aren't feeling the same call in their soul that you are, obviously. The reunion, soul recognition, collaboration, partnership, and friendship. I feel like this is Spirit's way of saying that it's coming out right over this Three of Pentacles, that you will meet other like-minded individuals that will sort of confirm things for you. And then look, the Rose of Venus, alignment, flow, right relationship, and harmony. So you may not have reached it yet. Okay, I thought that was another card. I was just making sure. You may not have found your people yet, but I think that you will. I think everything that you're going through is like helping to sort of like realign your energy and get you ready for like the sort of people that are gonna almost be on your level in a soul way, which is something that you may have been lacking lately. So, all right, guys, happy full moon. Don't forget that exercise about like writing stuff about yourself and then writing something nice about yourself. Have some fun, do some, maybe like take a salt bath or look into like a moon. What's it called? When you take like, not a moon bath. Oh my God, I can't think of a spiritual bath, spiritual shower, whatever, stuff like that. Do a little cleansing, clean out your house, sage it up. There's so many things you could do just to like feel more refreshed and better about yourself. So I hope you guys have a great full moon, and I'll catch you in the next reading, okay? Bye.